Recruiter here, the Headless Headhunter, getting you ahead of your job search by reviewing your resumes. The resume we have up first is, I have no idea. If you ever submit a resume, never do what this person did. Not just software engineer, literally any job. Every single job is going to be very specific in the skills they need. And what this person failed at, and what most people fail at, is they make generalized resumes. You cannot just say software engineer. You cannot just say sales. You cannot just say manager. You need to be very specific with the industry. Now, what this means is you don't need to tailor your resume to the job. You need to find 15 jobs that you qualify for that have the same title, and then create an aggregate list of qualifications from those and make your resume based on it. Because what this person did is they said they're a software engineer. All right, cool. Well, the 5 most common types, but not all, is full stack backend, Python backend, Java backend, C#.NET, and front end. So I'm going to roll a D6 right here, and whatever it lands on, that's what I'm going to review this as. If it's not the right one you are, well, tough. That's part of the problem. So this is a 3. I don't know where my camera went. 3. So we're reviewing this as a back-end Java developer. This is your problem, is you are not specific in what you are looking for. It does not matter if you're a phenomenal Python engineer if they're looking for a front-end developer. So you need to be specific. So there we go. These are the qualifications that I would be looking for in a back-end Java engineer. And that is Java, Spring, Spring Boot, SQL, RESTful APIs, microservices, OOP, Git, other APIs, Maven, Cloud, Architecting, SDLC, MongoDB, Extra Credit, Kafka, Full Stack, Agile, CI/CD, Hibernate, DevOps, and Docker as bonuses. So can I find what I need in 20 seconds, which is all the time I get to actually review a resume. And this person has over 150 applications to interviews, so this is probably not going to find it. And go. Okay, what is this? All right. Leveraging, why do I care about that? With Java, okay, good. And oh my gosh, that's it? Okay, Java. Jeez, there's like nothing here. Okay, yeah, this would be an absolute decline. You have Java, which is good, but where's everything else? So, what did this person say? They stated, I haven't even gotten a first stage interview in the past 3 months with this resume. Let me know what's wrong. Everything. This is a garbage resume. Thank you so much. So this means that this resume is garbage, not you. I want to be very clear. You are not defined by your resume. A resume is a minimum qualification document. And it turns out that you are probably a back-end Java engineer. So I'm going to ask you, where is the Spring? There it is, all the way at the bottom in a technical skill section. Cool. Anything in a technical skill section doesn't count. You should not have a technical skill section. If you have a technical skill section, it is superfluous at best, and at worst, it actively hurts you. So, what we're going to need to do is probably burn this resume and start again. Your resume needs to look like this. All right. I don't care if this is for a cashier or an HR developer or a senior Java developer. Your resume needs to look like this. The exception to that is if you are if you are a director level, that's when this resume format kind of falls apart. But unless you're a director level, your resume should look like this. So this is how you do it. The link is in below. It's on my website. It's free. So, besides burning this and starting again, formatting-wise, nothing here should be bolded. I don't need this coursework, and this does not add anything to it, so this should just be one line, and there should not be this line under that. Nothing here should be bolded. And then we go to the actual problem with this resume is there's really just nothing here. You said optimized microservices, which is something I'm looking for firms' checkout flow, leveraging user patterns, which I'm not looking for, device fingerprinting, and transactional history to adjust payment of instrument availability based on risk profiles dynamically. That is a whole bunch of words to say absolutely nothing. And that is the problem with this resume. I don't know, maybe this was AI created, maybe this person created it themselves, I don't know. The problem with AI resumes is not that recruiters are super good at detecting them, or we have crazy advanced technologies that can determine if you have an AI versus non-AI resume. The problem with AI resumes is they are indistinguishable from a bad resume that gets rejected. That's the problem. is they're just not good. They don't work. I wish I could tell you that AI resumes, all you have to do is put in 2 little things and then boom, you're done, you're good. But it's terrible. You're going to get rejected with an AI resume. That's unfortunately the case. So, this said absolutely nothing besides microservices. Created a risk authentication system. I'm not for activation flow, implementing Java microservices. Again, you already stated microservices. Java is great, but what is this? Why do I need it? I don't know. That categorized people into risk cohorts and streamlined the reactivation, blah, 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 blah. None of this matters. I am looking for you to say, created a backend using Java, Spring Boot for our SaaS company's website. That is a good sentence. That alone could get you stuff. Then I want to see created X and Y using SQL, RESTful APIs, and microservices, and probably some AWS in there or any other type of cloud. This says almost nothing. You have filled this with this stuff, which, yeah, this is not even in the bonus section besides Java, and you focused on processing with terabytes or whatever. So almost every resume I can tell when it's bad because of kind of how you write it, and that you're trying to impress me, the recruiter, but I'm going to tell you I will not be impressed. Not because somebody has not tried hard enough, but because I do not have the technical knowledge nor time to be impressed by your deep technical achievements. I want you to, instead of trying to impress me, just show me the things you've done before and that you can do it again. That's it. I want to see that you've done this stuff before and so that you can do it again. That's all I'm looking for. You are overcomplicating this to the point of getting massively rejected. So, that's all I can do for this resume. Before we go to the next one, if you ever need more help, you can join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST at twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter. And yeah, like, comment, and subscribe, share it with your friends, and let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a data analyst. So this is another data analyst in the healthcare industry. So what we're going to be looking for is degree, industry. In this case, it'd be healthcare. And they're going to want, like, I think H17 or HIPAA. There may be a couple of others. I can't be in every single industry. SQL, data visualization, so Tableau, Power BI, Looker. Stakeholders, explaining technical concepts to non-technical stakeholders. How you solved a problem with data, not what the data is. MS Excel, macros, pivot tables, VLOOKUP, Word, Python, R, multiple projects and deadlines, and a bonus for cloud. So, can I find that in 20 seconds? Let's find out. And go. Okay, SQL and Excel, good. That might be too technical. What do I care about? Increased detection. Teams and Agile Scrum design. This is hard to read. Okay, builds automated ETL. I don't think I'm looking for ETL or KPIs. And declined. Right. So this would probably get declined. Now, first off, they are probably an international, which does mean their ratio is going to be way worse. Prior to Trump's rule change, it was I helped a person get about 1 in 30 as an international, which is phenomenal as a ratio of how many applications to interviews you can get. And that same resume that was getting 1 in 30 after that Trump change made it to now 1 in 100. So your ratio is going to be bad. And as an international, that goes for everybody. It's gonna stink. It's gonna suck. You're gonna have to apply to so many jobs, and you're gonna have to have a near perfect resume. So the problem with this, though, is this is not a good resume. This is not a good enough resume that, regardless of citizenship status, which the recruiter should not be judging it on anyway, hopefully they're not, is you would still get rejected. So, used SQL and Excel to analyze, that's fine so far, but I'm not just looking for Excel, if you notice, I'm looking for, like, macros, pivot tables, and VLOOKUP. And then you say EDI claims, which this may be an industry-specific thing that I do not know because I cannot be in every industry, but I'm assuming that EDI and then the number is probably irrelevant. Claims and HL7, that is useful, and data under HIPAA is useful to improve identification of high-risk members and increase detection. Why do I care about this? Right? So you didn't tell me why this was useful. You tried to brag about why what you did was impressive, but I didn't even understand the basics of it. So instead of use SQL, Excel, blah, 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 is used Excel, macros, pivot tables, VLOOKUP, and SQL to create data visualization tableaus or whatever, Tableau PPIs, to help our employees identify high-risk members. That is so much better. And then here is collaborated. What do you mean collaborated? Collaborated is a terrible word. Like, it's not like you're going to get rejected by using it, but what does collaborated mean? Did you work with them? Did you walk into the room as them and say hi? Is this like a LaCroix situation where you were adjacent to where the work was happening and then someone called your name accidentally? Is that collaborated? Also, don't hate me, LaCroix. I actually really do like LaCroix. That is what that implies. Collaborated means nothing. You need to say worked like directly, or worked with operations and compliance teams, or worked cross-functional. Something along those lines, but this means nothing. In an agile scrum, okay, that's fine. To design Tableau dashboards for quality reporting, helping find. See, this part is okay. This part is bad. This part is good. Like, if anything, I just want to say, like, created Tableau dashboards for our cross-functional teams in an agile scrum environment to help find inefficiencies and reduce unnecessary healthcare spending. That's how I would like that to be written. I don't think I'm going to be looking for ETL. You're not a data engineer or KPI, so I don't think there's literally anything here I actually care about, and it's a wasted sentence. Used MS Office, okay, and Visio. Is Visio one? Is that one of the ones I have up there? Visio may or may not be. Deliver reports and presentations for 50 plus non-technical leaders. I don't care about that. So here's the thing is, you're delivering reports to them, but that's not showing me that you can explain complex topics to them. There is a difference between going, hey Lee, here's a report. It's going to help you out. And then I get the report and it's just a bunch of percentages, compared to presented technical details in an easy to understand manner to our non-technical leaders through MS Office and Visio reports. That is how I need you to write that. Implemented a Python ML model. That's okay. It's okay. Denial, engineering, early detention. That one's okay. But yeah, that's the problem, is half of this is junk. So that's one of the reasons you're having issues. The other half is it is not friendly for internationals right now. But the other half is this is still not a good resume. So I need you to stop impressing me and just start writing what you did. That's it. Resumes are boring. A good resume should nearly put me to sleep. I need to see it. Just be like, okay, good, you did it. Okay, you did it. Good. Okay, perfect. Boom, good. And your next question is, how do I stand out? Well, if you stand out, you get rejected. You do not stand out for your resume. You stand out in the interview. If in the interview you do not stand out, then you do get rejected. But for the resume, if you stand out, you get rejected. You do not want to stand out in the resume. That's all I can do for this one. Next resume. This is a resume of an Android engineer. This person says they have gotten, they said over 150 application ratio to interview, which is terrible. Again, you want to aim for 1 to 50 at a minimum. So let's see what is wrong with it, and then I will read it. Yes, that is the words that I chose and is correct. So, Android engineer, we need your degree. We need you to spell Android correctly. Kotlin, MVVM, MVI, Git, UI, Jetpack, Compose, RESTful API, Android SDK, cross-functional, Hilt or Dagger, and a bonus for Flutter backend languages such as Java or Python, AI, and CI/CD. So let's see if I can find it in 20 seconds. Let's go. Go. Okay, Android apps using MVVM. Okay, Java. Git is okay. Again, these are bonus points except for cross-functional. Data layer, I don't care about. ML kit, don't care about. Jetpack is nice, that's good. Nothing. Yeah, you don't have Kotlin or whatever it's pronounced. That's like probably the biggest reason. So that would be a yeet for me. What did you say? Never got to the HR interview stage. I've been applying since earlier this year. This is my latest improved CV after following your advice. I've applied to position both remote and in person. Some of them even offering visa support and relocation package. The only thing I see missing are stats and numbers. So yeah, your big issue, besides the fact that you're international, is well, there's a couple here, is you don't mention enough of what I need. And that's just the flat part of it. So are some of these good? Yes. But the one thing I saw in every single job that required this was Kotlin. And it's all the way down here of when you're an intern. No one's going to scroll that far back. If you're going for an Android engineer in the United States, at least, again, I don't know the EU's qualifications as much, you will need to put in your very first sentence, architected and maintained an Android app in Kotlin, however you say it. I'm not pronouncing it right, but you need to be able to put that in. That's like the biggest reason. And then beyond that, you only had about half of what I wanted, right? Like you had cross-functional, and that was good. You had MVVM, so that was good. And you had Git, and that was good. But you had a lot of the bonuses, but I didn't see like Jetpack, which was in a ton of them. I did not see REST API specifically. I did not see, well, Android SDKs probably go down to the bonus, I'm going to say. But yeah, I just didn't see enough, right? You had like 50% of what I needed, and the most critical one was Kotlin, and I didn't see that. Kotlin, whatever it's pronounced. People in chat are probably roasting me right now. So that's one of your problems from a technical standpoint. The other is, and I don't know your situation on visa statuses, when they offer visas, so you said, where did it put it? They offering visa support. So when they offer visa support, that usually means you need to already have the work. You need to already have the visa. They're just going to sponsor it, at least in the US. Now, is that the case all the time? No, but 9 times out of 10, you need to already have the visa. And they're saying visa support is they will have you transfer your visa to them. That is most of the cases. If you are applying outside the US to a role in the US and you do not have the work authorization first, your chances of ever getting a job are 0. The exception to that is if you apply for a contracting company that then sponsors your visa over in the States. So those are part of the reasons you're having issues is A, you don't have some of the main things that I'm looking for, and B, you may be applying without a visa because you still need it. Like if you're on an H-1B or an OPT or a TN, that's what visa support is. It's very, 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 very rare for someone to hire somebody fully outside the U.S. and have them move here. I know a lot of people ask for that, but it's very rare. I have, in my life, only had one specific time where we were considering having done that, and then even then at the end of that, they're like, no, it's not worth it. We have enough candidates here. And that was for a highly, highly, highly technical, like biopharmaceutical role. So that's all I can do for this one. Let's go to the next resume. I don't know what this is. So this person stated warehouse order selector, but in their note, they say they were looking for selection warehouses with 4 days a week. Most selection warehouses are 5 days, an occasional 6th day, which is why they do not have a lot of applications. And I researched and made a list of any warehouses that had schedules for 4 days near my city. I used an old resume and I only got this position has been filled. 2 postings were only 4 days old. And I started looking for resume tips after the first month and found you last week. Once I made this resume, I applied to 10 places within 2 days of being posted. Good. That's how you do it. I got an interview and a job offer after the interview. So now I'll be able to spend more time doing schoolwork while still having a job. Good. So I'm glad this helped. Would like a critique so I can hopefully create a good resume when applying for internships. It would be different qualification experience and a few projects, help with formatting and feedback if I need to improve my writing. So, people are probably wondering, like, Lee, what the heck? This is not your format. Why is this success? And it's because formatting is 30% of your grade. You can pass. This is not good formatting, but there are things that I am seeing here that are absolutely fantastic as a recruiter. Especially for a role that has so little competition like a warehouse order selector. So I'm going to break down of things that you could fix and why for a warehouse order selector is probably not going to matter, but for your internship it would. Because internships are very competitive. So first off, resume should look like this. All right, single column, never use 2 columns. Second off is this is fantastic. The amount of people that put languages that they are speaking, especially for blue collar, is very little. And when you are trying to find somebody who knows 2 languages, you see this, you can ignore almost everything else. If you have 2% of the qualifications and I see that you have the right language and you are adjacent to the industry, I am going to schedule a phone call to see if you actually have the rest of the skills. So what you do want to put under them is under this, right? Or right next to it, you could just say fluent in English and Spanish, or English and French, or French and Spanish, or whatever. So this is a giant green flag. Formatting wise, again, we want this to be one line. We don't want to use blue color. We want to have everything to be white and black, with the exception of this. This can be blue. Everything else should be white and black. And then how you actually wrote these is not bad. Operated electrical pallet jacks, which I'm going to make the assumption that that is a qualification for an order selector. To complete store orders using a Vocollect system at high selection rate while following food safety guidelines and minimal mispicks. That is exactly how I would write that question. I don't even know the exact qualifications they're looking for, and I can tell you that is probably correct. Operated reach forklift to replenish sections. Again, I think forklift is one. Lifted of extra pounds and pallets. Again, this is fine while following safety. So while this person's formatting is bad, it's actually not the worst ever. Like, you could do a lot worse than this. You still want to use this, but they actually wrote these bullet points pretty well. And look, used Excel to track scores and created a skill compression sheet for video game aiming practice. This shows that you meet the minimum qualifications of knowing how to use a computer. So yeah, look, managed up to 10 people's online schedules to meet daily and create resources for video games and healthy sleeping habits for inexperienced and aspiring programmers. That's great. I love that. That shows everything I need. So while everybody else is probably roasting this person like, oh, lol, formatting, this is terrible. And yeah, the formatting isn't good. The actual content is how I would want you to write it. So even though I don't know the exact qualifications for this role, I can tell you that you wrote it like you told me what you've done, not trying to impress me. So I want everybody to actually look at this, because this is a really good way of writing your resume. Different formatting, sure, but change the formatting. But this is gold. This boring, basic, just showing me what you've done gets people more jobs than any type of 13 over 12 over 10 over 5 over 12%. So to whoever this person is, congrats. You did it very well. You did your research right. This is success. Now, what you're going to want to do when you go to a internship is you want to focus on a basic tech stack of whatever that internship is, or business, whatever. And then you want to show that you can work well with others or take direction and criticism, which this is okay. Actually, I really like this down here for that. This is a pretty good way of describing that. I would need a little bit more about you personally taking criticism, and you can keep this, right? This just shows that you can have a green flag, but in this case, your projects would probably be higher. So overall, good job. I know people think I roast every resume, but no, this one is pretty solid. Just fix the formatting, and even then, I would always rather have better bullet points than better formatting. Next resume. Good job. This is a resume of a senior GRC analyst, or just a GRC analyst. Honestly, the title of senior and junior have the same qualifications. You just need more of the same qualifications for a senior. Where it gets to change is when you are looking for a leadership role or lead. Then that is where things will start changing a little bit in what you need. But otherwise, what I need for a junior and a senior is the same. I just need more of it for a senior. So for a GRC analyst, which I have never recruited for, which is governance and something, we are going to need GRC, security, compliance, SOC, or ISO, or HIPAA. And then cloud and its certs, AI governance, cross-functional, NIST, SIS, audit, Microsoft tools, so Excel, SharePoint, Word, navigating documentation, and speaking to non-technical teams and stakeholders. That is big. So let's see if I can find it in 20 seconds. And go. All right. Oh my gosh, there's so many, but I do see mostly what I need. All right. Okay, HIPAA is something I need in NIST. It's still written poorly. Okay, partner with the audit findings. Okay, yeah, you overcomplicated this. Could I move forward with this? Possibly. but it's also highly likely that a non-technical person would sort of skim past what they need. So you need to simplify this, but let me see what you wrote. I'm currently searching for a new role in cybersecurity, GRC. I know that you don't have a bunch of experience with hiring for cyber, so any information you have on my format, keywords, or etc. would help. Thank you and bless. No worries. So yeah, you actually got the gist of... No, Google, stop. I'm not calling you. Anyway, the AI Google thing just came up. So specifically what you want to do is simplify this. I did find the basis of what I needed, right? Like I saw NIST, I saw that you managed risk, and I saw HIPAA. The problem is you kind of threw in everything together, and it's highly likely that they may miss that stuff. So what I'd like you to do instead is we are going to first start off by simplifying this. You don't need to put graduation date, just put status graduated, right? This is fine, I guess. Maybe you should or should not. And then I want you to actually put all of these in the same line. I want you to put certs in, or just certifications in CISSP, CISSM, CISA, CRISC, and CompTI. You should still be able to fit it in 3 to 4. I don't need to know when it expires. If it's on your resume, I am under the assumption that it works. If anything, what you could do is you could just say they all expire in 2028. But you should be able to lump at least these together. So, maybe not this one, but these should be lumped together. That way it'll save you some space. Then we go down to here, and again, your formatting is slightly off. I don't want this to be bolded. Sorry, I don't want this underline to happen, and you are using the wrong font. So, as you can see this is the wrong font. I need it to look like this, and you need to do 10.5 Arial, and the spacing should be 1.5. So, this is not 1.5 spacing, because it does not look like this. You see this openness, easier to read. So here, though, we need to simplify it. I don't know, and again, this may be my lack of cybersecurity knowledge. That is something in IT I don't have a ton of experience with. But based on the job descriptions I've seen, I don't think you need this 700 items. I don't think you need PCI and DESS and CSF. I do think you need NIST and HIPAA. So what I'd like you to do is shrink this and make it more for a non-technical audience, because there is a high probability that they're going to see PCI, FedRAMP, and compliance, and then their eyes are going to roll back into the back of their head and they're going to not notice what they need. Then audit board, here's a bit of the problem is I want audit. I want to see you've done audit, but I'm not necessarily looking for the tool. This thing I'm looking to see that you've done it. So weirdly enough, the previous resume, for the warehouse person, I need you to write your resume like that person. Not the formatting, but how the actual bullet points are. That's actually how you write a good resume. Seriously, one of the gold star standards of how they kind of wrote that. So, don't do the formatting, but keep the actual like flow of the bullet points. Because I don't need audit board risk analysis. I just want to say performed audits or informed stakeholders of issues during audits, and that's kind of all I see with that. Partnered with business and technical stakeholders to address audit findings, support internal, external audits. See, I need a little bit more than partnered. What do you mean partnered? You tell me what, which in this case is audit, and stakeholders. You tell me the reason or result, but you don't tell me how. How did you do that? That is what I'm missing. Because remember, a qualification is keyword plus how you used it plus the reason or result of you using it. That is what a qualification is. You cannot just put in a keyword because it will be ignored. You have to show how, and you don't do that. This is okay, but I need you to reference it's more in revolves to document navigation, right? Because you don't say document. This I don't think they're looking for, and this I don't think they're looking for. This they may do. So basically your resume isn't bad, right? This is not a burn it all and start again. It's just a little bit too much irrelevant information and not enough of this information. I need you to focus it. So I need you to take away some of the more technical things and then put in some of the more basic things, and that will get you more interviews. Because right now this is very confusing to read. And it's highly likely that the person reading this may have even less GRC knowledge than I do. And I know a lot about tech, but GRC is not part of that. So if that's the case, they may miss all of this stuff, including the hiring manager, not just the recruiter, but the hiring manager. So make all those changes and it should be much better. You should have a better ratio. So for everybody else, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Share it to a friend who needs help. And, you know, if you ever need more help, join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST at twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter to get ahead of your job search.